say, man? Look out, Jack. Back with another banger. Today, we at the store with Big Mota. Living legend in Memphis, you dig? My boy was stepping and doing his thing. But of course, you know, he lost his life. You can tell by the title. So let's get into the video and see what he was doing on the streets of Memphis and how he was coming, Jack.
Like, these niggas did me, my name won't be so hot. So many people wanna hate me because I f*** a lot of people that did a lot of things, man.
Man, mention your name, be getting scared throughout the city and shit, man.
You know, they come from the haters that, man, you know, a nigga had problems, did something too, you know. Don't hurt me like everybody else. You know, niggas hating on me so bad, though, it spread like a disease.
Is you trying to get out the streets?
Yeah, I'm trying to get out the street, man. I got 4 kids, 3 girls, 1 boy.
In the Oak Haven community, a dark-colored car riddled in more than a dozen bullet holes on Chulahoma near Rains. It's another reminder of one of the late in the city that this time has apparently left a Memphis rapper known as Big Mota, where there was a large police presence. Investigators say 2 people were shot, 1 person Friday morning. Friends tell WREG Big Mota was taken to Regional 1 Hospital with critical injury.
If I shoot a in the middle of the mall in broad daylight on camera, and then when I get caught, I tell everything to these people. There's nothing you can do. You can't lie in the situation. You had an alibi that.
Hey yo, squad, what's the drill? Back with another video, man. It's been nearly a year since a figure of the Memphis underground, Big Mota, got taken out the game, and folks are still trying to figure out what happened. The man had made some enemies, that's for damn sure, but the story's a lot more complicated than you guys could ever believe. This is a story that snuffed out one of the people that was one of Memphis's hopes at one point. Did he bring it on himself, or was this just another case of senseless gang on the war-torn Memphis streets? We gonna find out. So without further ado, let's skip the play and get down to business. September 22nd, 1986, Big Mota was born and hit the earth as Jaron Rutherford in South Memphis.
Hard as South Memphis, man. You know, Mississippi, man, the Yellowstone, man.
Even back then, the streets of Memphis had been hot, with gangs running around popping off shots at each other like nobody's business. But around the time Big Mota was born, the Memphis crime wave was starting to get really out of control.
Fights every day, shootout, man. Skipping school, smoking blunts. Just, man, ruthless, no aggression, man. Bucking.
Mota was born into this wild time, and he had no support to keep him on the straight and narrow. His mom passed away tragically when he was just 10 years old, meaning that his siblings were the ones that raised him up.
I started feeling on my sisters and shit. They raised me the best way they could. You know, when I got older, they had a little cash, bought them car, whatever they had for. Just for rewarding them on some shit they ain't have to do when they had kids just 4, 5 years younger than me.
You might be wondering where his dad was in all of this, and let me tell you guys, the guy wasn't no sort of protective figure that Mota needed in his life. In fact, word on the street is that Mota's pops had him all up in sort of situations that he should never have been involved in as a kid. His siblings tried their best, but at the end of the day, a kid with no parental figures is bound to end up working on the streets, and that's just what happened with Big Mota. As soon as he entered his teens, Mota started getting involved in the gangs that allegedly bloodied the streets of Memphis every day. Around that time, a new gang by the name of Young Money started to come up in Memphis. Since Mota didn't have anybody to hold him back, he started hanging with a rough crowd and took part in criminal activities from a young age.
Make a nigga ass.
Say damn, boy. Nigga talk all that gang shit, but run when they see a nigga, man. You nigga hoes out here, man.
Real.
You talking about, man?
Later on, his reputation
My nigga had that stick in it like he wasn't playing no game, Jack.
for chain snatching and finessing would start to get out of control. Mota was still a young man at the time, but that didn't stop him from joining his gang and all the street drama. Crime was just a way of life, and since Mota was a big dude, it was easy for him to support his brothers in arms.
See the whole number.
Say, nigga trying to run.
But the thing is, Young Mob wasn't the only gang that wanted to run the streets. Another group called KSBG had been around for years, and they wouldn't let Young Mob take over without a fight. This allegedly led to a massive gang war that drove Memphis's right through the roof. People were getting gunned down left and right and center, and Big Mota always seemed to be the one at the center of it all.
So like, man, I've been hearing about a lot of shit happening and shit. Like, y'all folks been saying like you got shot and shit. You gonna speak on something about that?
Yeah, I got shot 12 times, but you know.
God damn. And he talking like this shit this normal, like, you know, like it ain't nothing, bro. You could have lost your fucking, well, God forgive me, he did lose his life, but at this moment of time, you could have lost your life 12 times, bro. God damn.
Are you good?
I'm good. I can walk, talk, breathe. Get on my own, no bad, none of this. I'm walking, doing whatever this nigga doing.
Yeah, talk.
But, you know, I just look at life different now, man. You know, that God waking me up, telling me, man.
Of course, Mota wasn't just all about the thug life. He had already started loving music early on, and with a slick, mean flow and his first-hand experience of how rough it could be on those streets, he was able to make music that made him a big name in the Memphis scene on the underground. But in 2010, something big happened that made Big Mota's life start to unravel. Mota was always bigger than life, and his charisma attracted a lot of people to his circle. Unfortunately, anybody that got close to him seemed to get in major trouble. Even if Mota wasn't the one responsible, his reputation for chain snatching, not to mention his beefs all across the town, meant that he always had a target on his back. One of his closest friends was a kid named Terrell Loverson, who had his own run-ins with the law in the past. In 2009, when he was just 19 years old, Loverson was caught with illegal substances and nearly went to jail for it, but the charges were dropped for unknown reasons. Now, there's no word about whether he was officially a part of Young Mob, but we do know that he ran with Big Mota basically all the time. On February 27, 2010, Big Mota and his crew pulled up at Southland Mall to buy some clothes for his little girl who had just turned 1. Loverson was right there with him, but they had no idea what was about to happen next.
We were parked right here. So we went to the mall to buy some kids shoes. My little girl had just turned 1 night, Kayla.
There's a chance that they ran into some KSBG
That nigga
boys,
look big as fuck. He like he about 6'3", 6'4". God damn, that nigga look big.
but either way, the end result was a fist fight that forced Southland Mall security to get involved.
Somebody came and got T-Bo and said, hey, them niggas, we got 2 with her. So
A member of the security team named Marquise Rainey decided to yoke him up.
security grabbed him. So T-Bo said, hey, bro, come help me. I said, get your out my nigga.
Big Mota shouted out at the mall cop telling him to let go of his boy. He couldn't really do much else on the account that he was involved in a fight that pretty much everybody at the mall saw firsthand. Things could have gotten a lot worse, but Rainey decided to let Loverson go. He probably saw that he was just a 20-year-old kid and felt like he didn't deserve to go to jail for getting into a fight. But the thing is, Loverson didn't take too kindly to being cuffed up, and as soon as Rainey let him go, he pulled out a piece and fired a shot right into the security guard's chest.
Damn.
Let him go. He just turned around and shot.
Rainey was left in critical condition, and he later passed away at the hospital.
Damn.
Big Mota watched all of it go down, but once a piece got involved, he and his crew had to split up right quick. There was no way they'd be caught at a crime scene like that, but something strange happened that really hurt Mota's rep on the streets. For some reason, Mota decided to get on camera and talk about everything that happened, down to the details. I don't think anybody could understand why he'd do something like that after all. Isn't that basically snitching on your boy? Now, Big Mota later said that he didn't snitch since all those details were already known to the cops, and since the whole thing was caught on security cameras, he felt like there was nothing wrong with telling his side of the story. But the thing about the streets is there's a certain code that comes with it. You never switch on your boys no matter what, but that's exactly what Big Mota seemed to do in that video according to the code. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. You see, Terrell was also wanted for a domestic incident, so it didn't take 5-0 much time to catch up to him. Just a few days after the incident, word broke out that Terrell had been arrested and charged with first-degree homicide. He'd later get sentenced to life in prison, and you got to wonder if things would have played out differently if Big Mota had just kept his mouth shut. While Terrell stared down the light,
I mean, even if he kept his mouth shut, it had it on camera, so, I mean, double-edged swords, famo, like, as you can see, the shit was on camera, what he did.
sentenced, the Memphis gang war
But Big Mota's in the shed at the same time.
started to get hotter and hotter than ever. Big Mota had lost some street cred already, but his rap career was starting to take off. He released some serious heat in the 2010s with songs like Live and other tracks like 100 Bands making major waves. But even outside of the music, Mota's reputation for wild antics was only getting bigger. In 2016, the guy got real bold when he straight up snatched the chain off of Shy Glizzy's neck.
Damn.
Now, Glizzy's definitely a bigger deal than Mota ever was, but that didn't stop Mota from rubbing salt in the wounds by releasing a diss track.
He 50 for them all.
You should have did a song, nigga. You should have did a song, nigga.
We asked you not to do a song. You said get the
Nigga said we asked you nice to do it, so.
Damn.
Thank you.
It was almost like the guy wanted to start new beefs. He just couldn't help himself. And while it might have boosted his profile for a bit, cause thugging comes with clout, it also made a long list of enemies even longer. Years after the Southland Mall incident, the snitch label hadn't gone anywhere, and Mota managed to get all up in everybody's business during that time. And while he was busy snatching chains and writing diss songs, his beef with KSBG only started to get more morbid. This brings me to yet another incident that happened in 2022 that escalated the situation to a whole nother level. Now, have you guys ever heard of Big 30? Of course you have. He's one of the biggest artists in the Memphis scene, and his work with Moneybagg Yo's Bread Gang label had the streets on smash. But some of you guys might not know is Big 30 had a little cousin who went by Big Nooski. Nooski was just chilling one day in White Haven, or Black Haven, around 7 p.m. on January 28, 2022, when some dudes rolled up and hit him right through the car window. I'm mentioning this because all these rappers were involved in the KSBG and Young Mob feud, allegedly. And then on October 26, 2003, all of the beefs Big Mota had and all the street drama he was involved in came to a head and came back to haunt him.
In the Oak Haven community, a dark-colored car riddled in more than a dozen bullet holes on Chulahoma near Rains. It's another reminder of one of the late in the city that this time has apparently left a Memphis rapper known as Big Mota.
Just like Nooski, Mota was sitting in the car down in Oak Haven. That's when an unidentified individual had fired 12 rounds straight into the rapper, leaving him gone on the spot.
Memphis.
That's crazy. He got shot 12 times before and survived. Then some double back. The second time got shot 12 times sitting in the car. But then survived, bro. All that negative energy you put in the atmosphere, bro, in the earth, bro, it's gonna come back to you. When you do fucked up shit, it's gonna come back to you. You gotta pay for what you do on the earth before you leave this bitch, bro. I'm a firm believer that you're gonna reap what you sow, and you gotta pay for what you do on this earth before you leave it. So, RP Big Mota, you know, the boys was a living legend in Memphis. I'm gonna give him his props, give him his flowers. RP that man. Make sure you get in the comments, like the channel, sub, or appreciate all the love I'm getting you, dig. Hey, RP that man.